You are now listening to Dear Dope Chick, a weekly podcast created to inspire and energize women to live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Felicia, and here is today's dose of dope. Dear Dope Chick, welcome and welcome back. How you living? How you feeling? Are you ready to take some action today? For those of you who are new here, who haven't been here in quite a while, or have been rocking with me since day one, Dear Dope Chick is an action-based podcast. So what does that mean? That means that every single episode you are challenged to take one small step that aligns with living life on your own terms. That means you're taking an intentional step. This is not some happenstance shit. This is you actually thinking about the moves that you're going to make and making it happen for yourself. One small step that aligns with the lifestyle that you most desire. I highly encourage you to take some type of action that aligns with the lifestyle that you most desire today. However, I understand the power of choice and the power that resides within us when we have full agency over ourselves. We are unstoppable. So for those reasons, I'm falling back and simply leading with this. It's all on you to do what you'll do today. Take responsibility for yourself. Make these lifestyle changes yours by choosing for yourself what you will and you will not do to make shift happen today. You owe it to yourself to steer your life in the direction that you've always wanted to go, and you can do that for yourself today. Well, I don't always say this in every episode, but a little implied if you read the show notes, that you grab your notebook today and you take some notes on what is discussed so that you can look back on the steps that you've made and you can see just how far you've come from where you started to where you are now. Today's action step is to convince yourself. Well, that's vague. Convince myself of what, P? I'm glad that you asked. I challenge you to convince yourself that you are dope. I challenge you to convince yourself that you are capable. Convince yourself that that one misstep that you took is for your greater good. Convince yourself that hard times won't last forever. Convince yourself that what you seek is also seeking you. Convince yourself that no matter what, you've always got your back. Convince yourself that what you see in others is a direct reflection of what you see in yourself. Convince yourself that you are supported and you are divinely protected. Live in the highest state of life is working for my greater good delusion that you can convince yourself to believe in, fam. I want you to live in that state. I mean, real talk, how is convincing yourself that you're dope and that you're capable of dope things any different than making up excuses? How is it any different than constantly telling yourself, I can't? How is it any different than you counting yourself out before you even begin? How is it any different than you justifying all of the reasons why you don't like something or someone? How is it any different than holding that grudge because you've convinced yourself that that's the hill you want to die on? It takes the same amount of energy to believe in yourself as it does to doubt your capabilities. Somewhere along your life journey, you got comfortable with settling into the shell of you. Today, I want you to convince yourself to bust out that shit, to explore the depths of yourself that have for so long gone untouched and unexplored. Over the course of the week, continue challenging your convictions by building mental fortitude. Mental fortitude is having the strength to make intentional choices and to simply be mindful and aware of your surroundings without getting bent out of shape by them. It's dismissing the circumstances. Like, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. What are you going to do in that case? Yeah, so something you ain't rocking with happened to you. You can hate that you had to experience this while also acknowledging that you can move on from it. That's the mental fortitude kicking in. It may take some time to get over it. Nobody's saying that it's going to be immediate, yet snail's pace is still a step forward. You are still making progress, even if it is a slow progression, or a slower progression, should we say, because who's to categorize it as slow or fast? It's all relative. So take your time. You've already resolved that this too shall pass. And because you know that, you act in accordance to it already have been passed. Part of believing is acting as if it already is done, because it's already done for you. Whatever it is that you're seeking, remember, you're convincing yourself whatever it is that you're seeking is seeking you too. It looks like accepting life for what it is. It looks like deciding to move forward from a troubling moment rather than to dwell in that mental hell that is what we call our negative and unproductive thoughts. We discussed acceptance in our previous episode, so when you get a chance, take a listen so that you can hear all of that and see what that entails. But one way we can build mental fortitude is by challenging our current convictions. We challenge our convictions by pushing the limits of what we believe to be true. Are you really incapable, or have you convinced yourself that you can't? Hell, have you even tried? Have you even attempted to do something before you've ruled it out? Is that just the way you are, or are you making excuses for why you won't change? That's the one right there. Have you truly been slighted, disrespected? Or is that your interpretation of the situation? Maybe your interpretation could be skewed. I don't know. Everyone has their interpretation of things. I want you to take a deeper look. It's okay to question your life up until this point. You can question whatever you want to question. Hell, some of the things you've told yourself over the years, some of the things that others have told you about yourself over the years, some of the things that you've heard about the world over the years are simply not true. You don't have to accept it for face value. You can question all of this shit. Some of these shared sentiments are heavily opinionated ideas of how life operates. It may have originated in one person's mind that this is what life is, and by default, people have taken it and run with it. Well, why can't that shit stop with you? We talk about breaking generational curses, and this is one of the ways that we do that is by challenging what we've viewed as tradition, by challenging what we've accepted as truth, and really digging deep as to why we do the things that we do. What is the purpose? What's the intention behind it? This is why two people can have the same set of events happen to them and have two totally different experiences. It's really about our perception, and our perception of our lives shapes and molds our realities. Hang tight, I'm coming back with my final thoughts after this. Show notes for this episode and all past episodes can be found on adailydoseofdope.com. That is adailydoseofdope.com. Come on in and join the community fam. Every day is full of encouragement, inspiration, and is designed to ignite the flame of passion into action. You want to take action. You got this burning desire to do it. You don't know where to start. This is where you start. Enjoy daily texts and emails. Have the opportunity to discuss topics with other dope chicks and really start the transformation that is living life on your own terms. adailydoseofdope.com. I cannot wait to see you there. So my final thoughts of this: convincing yourself of anything is nothing more than a mindset shift. All you're doing is altering your belief system. Why not convince yourself that you are the shit? Why not? Why not convince yourself that you hold the power to transform your life and that you can live it how you see fit? So long as it doesn't come as a detriment to others, why not pursue what you've always wanted? Breathe life into yourself by giving yourself a fighting chance to combat those negative thoughts that surface in your mind. The real tea is that you don't have to fight negative thoughts. Should a thought arise that you don't want to entertain, just as it floated into your mind, let that shit float away the same way. Hello, I'm here. Hello, bye-bye. See you. Doesn't have to stay. And you don't have to use an excessive force to get it away. Just let it go. Let it flow away. That's hard to do when you're so used to being in survival mode and fighting for everything. But it is an option. Additionally, you can equip your mind by taking proactive steps. You can listen to meaningful music. You can read uplifting books. You can engage in deep conversations. You can explore multiple options. There are different ways to do what you want in life. It doesn't have to look a certain way. There is power in your ability to release anything that doesn't serve you. Even solving problems the way that we've been solving them, if it doesn't really serve your higher good, your greater good, you can dismiss that way. It doesn't have to be the way that you continue to do things. You don't have to believe every thought that comes into your head about yourself or about others. You hold the power to challenge anything that comes to your mind. You don't have to believe that you are inherently good or bad, or that your behavior deserves a label of good or bad. Snap out of that way of thinking and convince yourself that multiple things can be true at one time. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is an end. All of those things overlap, and all of those things are true. You can decide to act the same, and you can decide to choose different for yourself. All that matters is you get to choose how you will act moving forward. Think abundance. Convince yourself there's a solution to any issue that arises, because there are so many possibilities and so many opportunities out there. Convince yourself that there is enough for everyone to experience and enjoy life the way that they see fit. Convince yourself that it's not your responsibility to convince others. By sharing this information with you, I've released the idea that you will believe any of it. My goal isn't to share this to convince you that you can or you will or you have it. None of that. Hell, I want you to question this. If you are willing, test it out for yourself. Challenge these beliefs. Prove me wrong. See if this shit works or if it doesn't work. Test it for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what works and what doesn't work. I want you to see it for yourself. Do it for yourself. If you are willing to take the step, take the step. If you are not willing to take the step, stay where you are. It's not my job or anyone else's job to convince you to move forward. You have to want this for yourself. You have to decide that this is what you want for yourself. What will you convince yourself to do with today? I thank you for being here. I thank you for showing up and listening. I thank you for giving yourself space to act, to process, to figure out what it is that you want in this life and to put it into action. Thank you for making intentional moves today. And most importantly, I thank you for being you. I'll see you in the next episode. For more dope messages, be sure to visit adailydoseofdope.com and become a member. Also, cop your dope merch at deardopechick.com and follow us on all of our social media at Dear Dope Chick, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, be you, be dope. Love, P.